Hello everyone and welcome back to Fan Interference with Wichita Wingnuts manager Pete Rose Jr. Fan Interference is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the Wichita manager questions about the Wingnuts, baseball or sports in general, or just seek Pete's wisdom about life events that are going on. In this week's episode, Pete explains to us why Eddie Medina can be so small, still yet throw the ball hard. He talks about the retirement of Alex Rodriguez, and he shares with us if Josh Robertson could beat him in any of the events of the decathlon. Let's get right to Fan Interference. So let's welcome back manager Pete Rose Jr. Pete, let's first of all begin with team updates you have for us.
Let's see. Team updates is we're tired. It's been a long travel season, but guys are holding up good. We got Nick Van Straten came in. He was here last year. We brought him in from Mexico and give us a big boost, not only offensively but defensively in the way he plays the game. So. Besides that, we're moving along. We got another week and a half to go. So other than that, everything's good.
I know you talked about the crazy schedule earlier on. So you're gone for like 3 weeks, and get like 3 days home and have to go out a week again.
Yeah, once again, I'm gonna bash the guy that schedules this just because it just doesn't make any sense, and not for me per se, because obviously we've talked about it. I don't have to play, but. You get these kids on a bus and you get them away for, like you said, 14 days. We come home for basically 2 nights and then back on, not a trip to Kansas City or Lincoln or Sioux Falls at that. We got to go 12 to Gary and then come up here and then go back home. So, I just think it really stinks for the players. And, if you're going to have a level playing field, I think that the travel schedule, you need to have days off. And, like today, we play a 12 o'clock game today, but yet we leave tomorrow. So why not make the 12 o'clock game tomorrow instead of today? But, I'm not in charge of that. I wish I would, but I'm not. But, my team is, they're built to do it if anybody can as far as the travel schedule. I think my guys in there are the ones that can push through it and make it happen.
Heading to our fan questions, Lisa from Wichita would like to know, how content are you with the state of your roster?
I love our roster. I mean, obviously you always try to get better, but they've been pretty much everybody's been here the whole year. So we've been one big family from the start. So I love my guys. I go to war with my guys every night, and I'm very content with it. I think that it's a great ball club in there, and I think they can only get better. So and on the other hand, I better like it because, here in about 3 days, I think it's what we're going to have and what we're going to go with. But we're fine. We've clicked from the beginning, and we're in a little, I don't want to say rut right now, but we're just not winning games. But we're going to be okay. But I love what I've seen, and not only the past week or so, but the whole year. So I'm very content with it.
Abby from Derby would like to know, how does Eddie Medina throw so hard? He looks like he weighs 140 pounds.
It's just it's a gift. It's a gift from the man upstairs, I think. I mean, some guys can just throw hard, some guys can't. I think that it's some stuff you can't teach. You're just kind of given with it. I wish I could have thrown hard. I still wouldn't have been a pitcher, but I just wish I could have threw hard. But he works hard. I mean, he's got good mechanics, and I think when he puts it all together, it comes out the way it's supposed to come out. But I think more so it's just. A gift from the man upstairs, and he just has been able to hone it, use it, and develop it. And I think it's a tribute to Eddie. But Eddie does throw the ball hard, and I think when he's right, there's nobody better.
Drake from Augusta would like to know, what happens as a result of you being thrown out of the game?
I get to go in my office. I get to watch TV. I get fined. The league fines me, so I have to pay a fine. That's really the extent of it. I mean, it's kind of part of the game, and we have disagreements. I never hold anything personal. The next day I'm fine, or even after I'm kicked out, I'm pretty much good to go. But it's a lot nicer when we're at home because I can go and I got a TV in my office. It's been nice and air conditioned, and just sit and relax, and get to let Jim Foltz run the game. Let my coaches do what they do, and just kind of go get away from it. But I just get fined.
You're not saying on a 110-degree day you're getting thrown out to be in there.
Never really on purpose for heat reasons, because like I said, I'm not playing, but there may be some other reasons why I might do it, but usually it's for my guys. Let's leave it at that.
Ryan from California would like to know, he says, the Wingnuts have a reputation of having a lot of their players get picked up by affiliated teams. What is the process? Do scouts contact the managers? Do the managers contact scouts? Or do agents get involved?
I think it's a combination of all three. I mean, first and foremost, I think if you look at, if you just pick up or you go on the internet, go to the American Association. I think you look at what the best teams are, and then you kind of go from there. But there's scouts that come to the game. I mean, I've talked to people with different organizations. Josh has talked to different people, organizations. The players' agents are always talking to other organizations as far as what are you guys looking for. So I think it's a combination of three, all three. But I've been kind of shocked on why we've only had one guy from our team this year get picked up, because there's a lot of really, really good baseball players in there that can help a lot of clubs. So, we'll see this offseason. Like I said, I wish everybody would have got picked up, but, I'm going to push for all of them this offseason to get picked up because I think they've earned it.
Becky from Phoenix says, listening to you, I sense that you really love the guys you manage. How hard does that make it when you have to release someone?
Very hard. I mean, it's terrible. It's the worst part of the job because, you just you get attached to these guys. But on the other hand, they know it's not personal. If it was personal, I wouldn't release any of them. But the difference in I don't know if me, but the way I look at it is, and I even told these guys the other night, I get to be in their lives for the rest of their life. So if you get released, that doesn't mean I just cut you off and I never talk to you again. Once you're one of my guys, you're always one of my guys. And I'll do anything for them at any time. If they're on my team, if they're not on my team, I still talk to guys I've managed from the White Sox and what have you. But it's the toughest part, and you hate to do it, but it's part of the game. And you just gotta make it business and not personal, because if you get personal, then it's it gets kind of messy. But it's never personal with me.
Amanda from El Dorado would like to know, who would you say has been the Wingnuts' best player this season?
Man, what a tough question. I gotta say TJ's got to be up there, just because if you look at his numbers, you look where he plays third, he plays short, he's played center, he's played right, he's played left. He could probably play second, he can play first, he could probably catch. He wants to pitch because he says he has the best knuckleball in the league. TJ's up there. Harry Kane, there's there's just so many different guys. You look at Cleve, you look at Cox. Cox is, should be hitting 350 with all the balls that he's hit on the screws. You look at Stringer. You look at Leo Vargas. He's played every game. Cox has played every game. TJ's played every game. And then you look at the pitching staff. Frankie Reed's got to be one of those guys too. So it's tough for me to pick one. So I'm not going to pick one, but I can give you a couple. I'd say Harry and TJ, Coxie from the offensive standpoint. I've got to say Frankie Reed and Bo Shears from the pitching standpoint. They've had great years, and I think all of those guys deserve to be our so-called best player. But I just think we got a really good team.
Is TJ going to get a chance to pitch?
If I have anything to do with it, no, because I don't want him to blow anything out or do anything stupid. So we're going to keep him off the mound.
Next we have Anthony, who says, I don't know if you... Next we have Anthony, who says, I don't know if you have this experience or not, but what do you say to players who come to Wichita and act like independent baseball is beneath them?
First and foremost, I don't think we'll ever bring a player in that acts like that. I think if he comes in and acts that way, I think you can figure it out on the phone. Or the thing about here is, a lot of these guys know guys that come in, so you can kind of get a sense. You can talk to the clubhouse guys, your middle stats, your Cox, your Clevelands, that type of deal. But we don't want guys like that, because listen, we're all here together, and it's baseball, and you got to go out and play. And I played independent baseball, played in the big leagues, and I never thought of it that way. It's a chance to play, it's a chance to get back to the big leagues, it's a chance to get back in an organization. But we won't have any guys that are going to come in here like that. I won't have them in my locker room, and I know those guys, me and my team, won't have them in there either. So, we've been lucky, and I think it's a tribute to our guys, it's a tribute to Josh, it's a tribute to the Wingnuts tradition, so to speak, that they don't bring guys in there. They bring in first and foremost quality kids, and I think that's what we have.
Tammy from Wichita would like to know, what are some things you've learned in your first year as Wingnuts manager?
It's very hot in Wichita. It's even hotter on the turf. It's very humid in Wichita. That's probably about it. But no, it's been a great experience. With the fans and the people, it reminds me a lot of Cincinnati, just because it's so divided, to where you got east side, you got the west side. In Cincinnati, you got the east side, and you got the west side. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, like it's all I expected and more, just because of the team and the fans and the people of Wichita. They welcomed me with open arms from day one. So it's been a great summer, and we're just going to try to just continue it and maybe take a run at this thing. But it's just a great place in general. I mean, it's a great place to play. It's a great place to raise a family. My family loves it when they come out here. As far as the YMCA's are beautiful, water parks and everything, and but it's been a great summer. And I'll tell you what, they may have one of the best pizza places ever in Picasso's, which I'm a big fan of it. And I would love for them to move on to Cincinnati, so I don't have to go far. You have to get on a plane and come get pizza.
So when your dad warned you about how hot it was in Wichita,
he was right. He was right on the money when he said it was the hottest place, and I agree with him 1,000%. Because we went to Fargo, on the last trip, and Fargo, Winnipeg, and just like, wow, this is amazing weather. And then you go back home, and it's just okay. You just walk out in the sun. So, but we got to deal with it, so it's okay.
Jim from Topeka asked, heading to MLB questions, he says, a lot of people talk about what a great manager Joe Madden is, and I agree with him that he is, but what about the job that Terry Francona is doing? Doesn't he deserve to be in that conversation of best managers?
Sure. I mean, his track record speaks for himself. I mean, that's, he's done a great job wherever he's won. I mean, he's won with Boston, now he's winning with Cleveland. Absolutely. I wouldn't disagree with that by any means. I think he's one of the top managers, and if not the top. But I think there's a bunch of guys that can get thrown in there as far as that conversation. But definitely Tito deserves to be in that conversation with Matt, just because look what they're doing this year. But I mean, they've been rebuilding kind of for the past couple of years, and going from last year to this year. I mean, it's a world of difference, and they really didn't do much in the free agency market, so kind of like the Cubs did. So I definitely think he deserves to be in that conversation.
John from Wichita says he sees teams get on big winning streaks or big losing streaks. He's curious if you believe in the idea of momentum in baseball.
Sure, no, absolutely. I think it's a big part of it, but I think you can't really worry about it. I think you just go out and just do what you can do, and I think it all just kind of falls into place. I think if you can get your guys to play for one another and just go out and be themselves, I think you get a better chance of winning, as opposed to a guy going out and trying to hit 2 home runs with bat, strike 3 guys out with one batter. But yes, I definitely think it's a big part of it. And if you score runs, you want to shut down your pitcher to go out and throw up a 0. I think that's momentum right there. Or if you can put a run up on a board first, I think that's momentum. But definitely it's part of the game. Believe in it. But I think if you do the other things, it kind of comes with it.
Next we have Bill from Cincinnati, who says, the Reds are terrible, Pete. Any chance you would manage the team? I would manage it in a drop of a dime. It's my hometown. It's my hometown team. I know what its struggles are because I'm a Reds fan. I was home a little bit this summer with my dad's thing. I would probably do it for free. I mean, to be honest with you, it would be a dream job just to, be able to sleep in your own bed and drive down to the ballpark and go manage that team. I mean, they got a great young pitching staff. They got really good young position players. Brian Price has done a great job, but if they would give me the opportunity, I would jump at it. Sorry, Wichita, but I think Cincinnati would be a little bit nicer for me and my family. But absolutely, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Sam from Kansas City asks, he says he sees your team is struggling to win games. Do you find that you would rather play, when a team is struggling to win games, do you find that you would rather play a stronger defense to try to reduce your opponent's ability to score runs? Or do you want to add more offense, even if that means foregoing your defense?
I don't think you do either. I just think you just ride the ship out and you believe in your guys. I mean, I think if you believe in what you throw out on the field every day, which I do, it's all gonna take care of itself. Like I said, now we're back to the question we just talked about before. If they go out and they don't worry about not making an error, they don't worry about not striking out, they don't worry about not walking somebody, we'll be fine. I mean, baseball's baseball. You win them, you lose them. But I think when you go on winning streaks, it's just guys going out, having fun, and just being themselves. And I think when you get in a little funk, it's guys trying to do too much and trying to, I got to be the guy that I got to do everything, instead of just, you go up and you worry that if I don't do it, my teammates are going to pick me up behind. So, I don't think you do either. I think you just stick with what you got, you ride the ship out, and, your guys will pull through for you just because they believe in one another.
Tom from Wichita would like to know what your favorite ballpark was to play in when you were a pro.
I got to say Riverfront Stadium just because I grew up there, and obviously it was on the old turf, and I didn't play when it was grass, but Wrigley Field is one. I mean, it's just an amazing atmosphere with the old and nostalgic. Wrigley Field's got to be up there, but I got to say Cincinnati, old Riverfront, just because of I was born there, I grew up there. I probably know every backdoor entrance and everything, so I would say Riverfront.
Dan from Newton House, he says he was surprised that Alice Rodriguez retired just 4 home runs short of 700. Could you walk away like that?
Never. I don't care how much money you're paying me if I got 4 home runs to go. And you know what? I'm going to say that I don't think he's done. You can quote me on that. I think he's going to play at some point. I don't know where it's going to be, but I think he's going to play again just because of what you just said with the 4 home runs. But, having a knee replacement, it was still tough to walk away from myself, but I knew I was facing that at some point. So if you're only 4 home run short, I think I'm going to take a shot at it and maybe have another month and just try to swing for the downs and see what happens.
Lou from Cincinnati would like to know, he says, Pete, are you an Ohio State Buckeyes fan? And if so, how do you see them going this season?
I'm an Urban Meyer fan. I think when you're from Cincinnati, if you go to Ohio State, you're a Buckeye fan. If you don't, I think you're a UC Bearcat fan, which I'm a UC Bearcat fan. But Urban's done a great. I met him. Obviously, we know him, me and my father. But what a great guy to be around. I wish him nothing but the best, and I root for him. So I guess I'm a Buckeye fan because he's there, and I think they're going to go all the way. I mean, his track record is it's proven. I mean, he goes out and he recruits well, and he gets the best players, and they go and play for him, whether it's at Florida or Utah or at Ohio State. I mean, he's just he's an unbelievable coach. So I think they can go all the way. I just hope if they come to Cincinnati and play the Bearcats, I hope the Bearcats can put it on. That's just the Cincinnati. They're coming out of me, but.
Heading to Pete's favorite topic each week, Le'Veon Bell suspended. This is the Bengals' year, right?
Well, I would have said yes, but they just reduced the suspension, so I say I think that's a crock of BS if you ask me. They didn't reduce Tez's suspension, so I think it's unfair. But of course, it's our year. I mean, we're reloaded and locked in, and we're going to have a great year, and I can't wait for them to kick it off. I mean, they just beat the Lions last week. I think it was 30-12 or something like that. So they look good. I mean, it's going to be a big boost when Tez comes back, but it just figures that once again Steelers getting the call, whether it's a so-called cheap shot or whatever. Now all of a sudden they're reducing suspension, so I think it's a bunch of crock. I think everybody, maybe in the office are Steeler fans, but we're going to be okay. Blue Day, all day.
Fantasy Nut would like to know, he says, Pete, I really want to win in fantasy football this season. Give me some advice on how I can get on top.
Get as many dangles on the offensive side as you can. And that's coming from the heart. That's not coming from the mind or the study part of fantasy football. But the more bangles you get, the better off you're going to be. And just remember, don't get any Steelers on your team whatsoever.
We pull out the couch for the next 2 questions. First is Debbie from Hutchinson. She says, my husband and I are about to have our first child. What do you think are the most important values that you would try to instill in your children?
Work hard, chase your dreams. I mean, I think you can do anything you want as long as you put your mind to it and chase it. And, I think that's what my 2 kids, we love them to death, obviously, but, you want them to chase their dreams. You want them to think that they can do anything they want. We don't force anything on them. I mean, we never force baseball on my son or football on my son or softball on my daughter. I mean, they just love to do it, and I think you just support them and just love them the way that you know how to. And I think the sky's the limit. But if they can chase their goals and dream big and know that it's okay to fail and just get dust yourself off and pick yourself up and keep going, I think they're going to be okay. But tell them to chase their goals and dream big, because you can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it.
Bill has a really interesting question for you this week. He says, Mr. Rose, I am 14, and I admit that I do some really dumb things because I'm a teenager. A couple weeks ago, I did something really dumb, and my dad told me I am stupid. That really hurt me that he called me that, but I don't know how to tell him. What should I do?
That's a tough question. I think I wouldn't say it's stupid. I just think it's part of being human and part of being a teenager. I think my son would just sit down with Dad and say, Dad, this is kind of how it is. I mean, that's a relationship that I have with my son and my daughter, to where, you can talk about anything, regardless of what it is. And I think that, my son and my daughter know that, hey, I might be upset, but, you always want the truth, and you never want him to hide anything. But I think if he has a good relationship with his dad, just, hey, sit him down and say, hey, Dad, listen, this is kind of how it is, this is how I feel, and I'm sure everything will work out for the best.
Our last question comes from Jerry from Wichita. He says, if you and Josh were competing in the decathlon, how many of the 10 sports do you think you would win?
10. All 10. Period, all 10. He's got no chance. You got to remember, he's a catcher, and he thinks he's a shortstop, and he thinks he can run and probably throw and everything else, but all 10, no two ways around it.
Thanks for joining us this week.
You got it.
We want to thank you for joining us on Fan Interference this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the Wichita Wingnut skipper, please send them to us at askpete@minorleaguesportsreport.com. That's askpete@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have your questions to us by Sunday evening so we can give the skipper a little time to review them before we record the show. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report, and we'll see you next time